Welcome to The Explainer. Today we are diving deep into what might just be the most important new skill in the age of AI, prompt engineering. You know, it's the real difference between getting a frustrating, totally useless answer from an AI and actually unlocking its incredible power. So, let's get right into it.
We've all been there, right? You ask an AI what seems like a simple question, and you get back something that is just pure nonsense. It feels like the machine just isn't working. But here's the secret. The problem usually isn't the AI. It's us. It's the prompt.
And that's really the heart of it. You do not need a fancy degree in computer science to get amazing results from AI. This is all about learning a new way to communicate. It's a skill that you build by trying things, seeing what works, and tweaking your instructions over and over again. So, how do we actually get better? Well, it all starts with a little shift in our thinking. We need to move beyond just asking the AI simple questions and start strategically engineering our prompts to guide it exactly where we want it to go.
So, what is prompt engineering, really? At its core, it's all about designing your inputs to steer the AI. It's not a one-shot deal. It's a constant cycle. You design a prompt, you test it out, you look at the result, and then you refine your approach. You just keep going until you get exactly what you need.
But here's a twist. It's not just about the words you write. You can also take control of the AI's personality and its precision by tweaking its core settings. Think of them like little dials you can turn up or down. The first, and maybe most important dial, is temperature. And you can basically think of it as the AI's creativity knob. If you want factual, straight-to-the-point, predictable answers, you turn that temperature way down low. But if you want something imaginative, surprising, maybe even a little wild, you crank it all the way up. And then you have these other settings, like top K and top P. Now, don't let the technical names scare you. The idea is actually pretty simple. Imagine the AI is about to pick its very next word from, say, 10,000 possible choices. Well, these settings let you shrink that list. You can tell it, hey, only consider the top 10 most likely words. It's just another way to control the randomness and keep the output focused.
So let's see what this actually looks like. Imagine you ask an AI to just describe coffee. With a low temperature setting, you'd probably get a very factual, almost dictionary-like definition. But if you crank that temperature all the way up to 1, you might get a beautiful, poetic story about a misty morning brew. See? The exact same prompt can give you wildly different results. Okay. Now we're going to kick it up a notch, because beyond just telling the AI what to do, the most powerful prompts are the ones that actually show it with great examples. The most basic way to prompt is what we call zero-shot prompting. You just give the AI a task with, you guessed it, 0 examples, and you just kind of hope that its training is good enough to figure it out. Now, this can work for really simple stuff, but for anything even a little bit complex, it's a total gamble. So, we need to give it a little help.
And that is where one-shot and few-shot prompting come to the rescue. This is where you give the model just one, or even better, a handful of examples of what you're looking for. This literally shows the model the exact pattern it needs to follow, and that dramatically improves its accuracy.
Take a look at this pizza example. It's perfect. The goal here is to turn a messy, conversational order, you know, how a real person talks, into clean, structured data that a computer can read. In this case, a format called JSON. Now, asking the AI to do this cold, it would probably fail. But by showing it a couple of examples first, it learns the pattern and bam, it nails the new order. That right there is the power of few-shot prompting.
All right, this is where things get really interesting. What if you could prompt the AI not just to give you an answer, but to actually reason its way to the solution first?
Let's take this little math riddle. It seems simple, right? But it's exactly the kind of thing that trips up a lot of AI models, because it needs logical steps to solve. So what do you think the AI's first guess would be if you just asked it straight up?
Yeah, if you just ask the question directly, the AI often gets it totally wrong. It jumps to a weird conclusion, something like 63. It's a classic failure of reasoning.
But watch what happens when we just add one simple phrase. Let's think step by step. This little trick triggers a technique called chain of thought. It forces the AI to slow down, to show its work, to find the age difference, and then correctly arrive at the right answer, 26. We didn't just get the correct answer, we actually got to see how it thought to get there. It's incredible.
A similar idea is something called step-back prompting. I like to think of this as giving the AI a running start. So before you ask your super specific question, you first ask a broader, more general one to get its, brain warmed up on the right topic. This helps it access more relevant knowledge, and it leads to much richer, more creative final answers. And finally, there's REACT. It stands for reason and act. Now, this technique basically gives the AI superpowers because it lets it use external tools like a search engine. It creates this amazing loop. The AI thinks about a problem, it acts by searching for information, it observes the results, and then it refines its plan. This is how modern AIs can answer questions about things that happened just a few minutes ago.
Okay, so we've just covered some seriously powerful techniques. Let's try to pull this all together now into a toolkit of best practices that you can start using right away.
One of the biggest rules to remember is this: tell the AI what you want, not what you don't want. Negative instructions like "don't list video game names" are actually really confusing for an AI. It's so much better to use positive, specific instructions like only discuss the console, the company, the year, and its sales. It's just far more effective.
So let's do a quick lightning round of best practices. Always be specific. Always provide clear, few-shot examples if you can. Use strong action verbs like analyze, generate, or summarize. And hey, don't be afraid to experiment with different styles. Oh, and when you're working with data, always ask for structured output like JSON. It makes it so much easier for another program to use the results.
Now, this right here might be the single most important habit you can build. All the pros are disciplined about this. They document everything, the goal, the settings they used, the exact prompt, and the output they got. This is how you turn just messing around into a repeatable, scientific process for getting better and better results. So, if you remember just one thing from all this, let it be this. Prompt engineering isn't some kind of magic. It's a process. You craft something, you test it, you analyze what you got back, and then you refine it. It's a continuous loop of experimentation that really anyone can master. So, I'll leave you with this question. Now that you have the tools to go way beyond just simple questions and to truly guide an AI's thinking, what complex problem, what creative task, what new idea are you going to solve first? The power is officially in your hands.